the Catholic Men's Podcast, helping you find good works of literature for the Catholic gentleman.
There lived here in Quito, Ecuador, a Spanish nun whose life is a great example for us. Her name is Mother Mariana de Jesus Torres, and she was a nun of the Conceptionist order. This here is her convent.
She left a full written account of her life at the command of her superiors, and this account was approved by the 10th Bishop of Quito, the Most Reverend Pedro de Oviedo, who actually knew her. Part 1. The First Apparition of Our Lady of Good Success. In the early morning of February 2nd, 1594, Mother Mariana was praying in the high choir. Prostrate with her forehead touching the floor, she implored help for her community and mercy for the sinful world. She then heard a sweet voice calling her name. Rising quickly, she beheld a most beautiful lady in an aura of light. On her left arm she held the child Jesus, and on her right a gold crozier. "Who art thou, beautiful lady?" she asked. The lady answered, "I am Mary, Mother of Good Success, the Queen of Heaven and Earth. Because you are a religious soul, full of love for God and for His Mother who now speaks to you, I have come from heaven to soothe your burdened heart." She then revealed to Mother Mariana that hers would be a long and suffering life, but she bid her never to lose courage. Saying this, she placed the infant Jesus in the humble Virgin's arms. Clasping him tightly to her heart, Mother Mariana felt the strength to suffer all for His honor and glory and for the good of souls. Our Lady was to appear several times to Mother Mariana under the title of the Mother of Good Success. During some of these apparitions, she prophesied many things about the 20th century. Part 2. The Prophecies. Our Lady said to Mother Mariana that in the future, unbridled passions will give way to a total corruption of customs because Satan will reign through the Masonic sects, targeting the children in particular to ensure general corruption. Oh, how it hurts me to tell you that there will be many and enormous public and hidden sacrileges. The sacrament of matrimony, which symbolizes the union of Christ with the Church, will be thoroughly attacked and profaned. Masonry, then reigning, will implement iniquitous laws aimed at extinguishing this sacrament. They will make it easy for all to live in sin, thus multiplying the birth of illegitimate children without the Church's blessing. Secular education will contribute to a scarcity of priestly and religious vocations. The Holy Sacrament of Holy Orders will be ridiculed, oppressed, and despised, for in this both the Church and God Himself are oppressed and reviled, since He is represented by His priests. The devil will work to persecute the ministers of the Lord in every way, working with baneful cunning to destroy the spirit of their vocation and corrupting many. Those who will thus scandalize the Christian flock will bring upon all priests the hatred of bad Christians and the enemies of the one holy Roman Catholic and Apostolic Church. This apparent triumph of Satan will cause enormous suffering to the good pastors of the Church and to the supreme pastor and vicar of Christ on earth, who, a prisoner in the Vatican, will shed secret and bitter tears in the presence of God our Lord, asking for light, sanctity, and perfection for all the clergy of the world, to whom He is King and Father. Unhappy times will come wherein those who should fearlessly defend the rights of the Church will instead, blinded despite the light, give their hand to the Church's enemies and do their bidding. But when evil seems triumphant, and when authority abuses its power, committing all manner of injustices and oppressing the weak, their ruin shall be near. They will fall and crash to the ground. Then will the Church, joyful and triumphant like a young girl, reawaken and be comfortably cradled in the arms of my most dear and elect Son of those times. If He lends an ear to the inspirations of grace, one of which will be the reading of these great mercies that my Son and I have had toward you, we shall fill Him with graces and very special gifts, and will make Him great on earth and much greater in heaven. There we have reserved a precious seat for Him, because, heedless of men, He will have fought for truth and ceaselessly defended the rights of the Church, deserving to be called martyr. At the end of the 19th century, and throughout a great part of the 20th, many heresies will be propagated in these lands. The small number of souls who will secretly safeguard the treasure of faith and virtues will suffer a cruel, unspeakable, and long martyrdom. Many will descend to their graves through the violence of suffering and will be counted among the martyrs who sacrificed themselves for the country and the church. To be delivered from the slavery of these heresies, those whom the merciful love of my Son has destined for this restoration will need great willpower, perseverance, courage, and confidence in God. To try the faith and trust of these just ones, there will be times when all will seem lost and paralyzed. It will then be the happy beginning of the complete restoration. In those times, the atmosphere will be saturated with the spirit of impurity, which, like a filthy sea, will engulf the streets and public places with incredible license. Innocence will scarcely be found in children or modesty in women. He who should speak seasonably will remain silent. There shall be scarcely any virgin souls in the world. The delicate flower of virginity will seek refuge in the cloisters. Without virginity, fire from heaven will be needed to purify these lands. Sects, having permeated all social classes, will find ways of introducing themselves into the very heart of homes to corrupt the innocence of children. The children's hearts will be dainty morsels to regale the devil. Religious communities will remain to sustain the church and work with courage for the salvation of souls. The secular clergy will fall far short of what is expected of them because they will not pursue their sacred duty. Losing the divine compass, they will stray from the way of priestly ministry mapped out for them by God and will become devoted to money, seeking it too earnestly. Pray constantly, implore tirelessly, and weep bitter tears in the seclusion of your heart, beseeching the Eucharistic heart of my most holy Son to take pity on his ministers, and to end as soon as possible these unhappy times by sending to his church the prelate who shall restore the spirit of her priests. Part 3. The Angelic Statue. Eventually, Our Lady asked Mother Mariana to have a statue of her made. She wished this statue to be placed in the prioress's seat in the high choir, so that, from there, she might effectively rule over her convent. Our Lady assured her that Francisco del Castillo would sculpt it, and that her angels would refinish it. And so, the statue was made. And now, at intervals in the year, TFP members will come and assist the sisters in bringing the statue from the cloister choir to her niche above the altar and then back again. So that's one of the reasons why I'm here, to help the sisters bring the statue down, and I also came to bring prayer intentions gathered by the American TFP to set at the foot of Our Lady. Praying before the statue now, her gaze is so lifelike and so heavenly that I have no difficulty in believing that the statue was finished by angels. In fact, Francisco del Castillo, after stopping work on the image and returning the following day to find it much changed, said, "This precious statue is not the work of my hands. I do not know how to describe what I feel in my heart. This was made by angelic hands."